May 14th, 1948. Tel Aviv. David Ben-Gurion stands before a packed room reading aloud the Israeli Declaration of Independence. After 2,000 years of diaspora, the Jewish people have a state. The crowd erupts. The celebration lasts exactly one day. The following morning, May 15th, 5 Arab armies cross the border. Egypt, Transjordan, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon. Their mission is simple: strangle the infant state in its cradle. 1948, the war that created modern Israel. To understand this war, we need to rewind 30 years. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed. Britain took control of Palestine, a narrow strip of land between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River. 2 peoples, 1 land, both claiming it as home. For Jews, Palestine was the ancient homeland promised in their scriptures, and after the Holocaust murdered 6 million of their people, the need for a safe haven became existential. For Palestinian Arabs, this was the land they'd lived on for centuries, their villages, their olive groves, their identity. The British promised both sides too much and delivered nothing. By 1947, exhausted and broke after World War II, Britain handed the problem to the United Nations. The UN vote, partition, split Palestine into 2 states, 1 Jewish, 1 Arab. Jerusalem would be international. The Jewish leadership accepted. The Arab states rejected it outright. The day after the vote, November 30th, 1947, the shooting started. That first morning, Arab fighters ambushed a bus near Lod, killing 5 Jewish passengers. It was the spark. Over the next 6 months, Palestine descended into civil war. Arab irregulars blocked roads, besieged Jewish settlements, and attacked convoys. Jerusalem, the holy city, became a battleground. Arab forces surrounded the Jewish neighborhoods, cutting off food, water, and ammunition. By April 1948, Jews in Jerusalem were starving. On April 13th, a medical convoy heading to Hadassah Hospital was ambushed. 78 Jews were killed, including 23 women. Doctors, nurses, massacred. The Jewish forces, primarily the Haganah militia, launched Operation Nachshon to break through to Jerusalem. They cleared the road, and for the first time in months, convoys reached the city with food and ammunition. It was a turning point. The Jews shifted from defense to offense. In April and May, Jewish forces captured Haifa, Jaffa, Tiberias, and Saft, major Arab cities. Over 250,000 Palestinian Arabs fled or were expelled. Palestinians call it the Nakba, the catastrophe, May 15, 1948, dawn. Egyptian planes bombed Tel Aviv. The aerial assault shattered windows, killed civilians, and announced the new reality. This was no longer a civil war. This was an invasion. Egypt attacked from the south, through the Negev desert. Transjordan's Arab Legion, trained by Britain and commanded by British officers, drove toward Jerusalem. Syrian forces descended from the north. Iraqi and Lebanese contingents joined the assault. On paper, the Arab armies had the advantage. More troops, better equipment, air superiority. But they had a fatal flaw: no unified command. Each Arab state had its own agenda. Egypt wanted dominance in the Arab world. Transjordan's King Abdullah secretly wanted to annex parts of Palestine for himself, not create a Palestinian state. The Israelis, meanwhile, had something the Arabs didn't: desperation. Many Jewish fighters were Holocaust survivors, people who had witnessed the destruction of European Jewry. They believed they were fighting for survival. The fiercest fighting erupted around Jerusalem. The Arab Legion stormed the Jewish quarter of the Old City. After brutal street fighting, 1,500 Jewish inhabitants were expelled, and several hundred detained. The Arabs blew up the ancient Herva synagogue. Jewish access to the Western Wall, the holiest site in Judaism, was lost. But West Jerusalem held. The Israelis couldn't capture the Latrun fortress blocking the main highway to Jerusalem. They suffered 586 casualties, including Mickey Marcus, Israel's first general, killed by friendly fire. So they built a new road. It was called the Burma Road, a makeshift bypass carved through the hills. On June 1st, the first convoy got through. Jerusalem survived. In June 1948, the United Nations brokered a ceasefire. Both sides were exhausted, but the truce gave Israel something invaluable: time. During the ceasefire, weapons flooded in, mostly from Czechoslovakia: rifles, machine guns, artillery, fighter planes. When fighting resumed in July, the balance had shifted. Operation Danny, the target, Lydda and Ramleh, two Arab cities controlling the road between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Israeli forces captured both cities in rapid succession. What happened next remains controversial. Thousands of Palestinian Arabs were expelled from Lydda and Ramleh, part of a broader pattern of displacement that would leave over 700,000 Palestinians as refugees. By October, Israel launched Operation Yoav in the south, breaking the Egyptian siege of the Negev. By December, Operation Horev pushed Egyptian forces back toward the Sinai. In the north, Operation Hiram cleared Syrian and Lebanese forces from the Galilee. Around 50,000 more Palestinian Arabs fled the fighting. The tide had turned completely. By early 1949, the Arab armies were beaten. Between February and July 1949, Israel signed armistice agreements with Egypt, Lebanon, Transjordan, and Syria. The armistice lines, called the Green Line, became Israel's de facto borders. Israel now controlled 78% of historic Palestine, far more than the UN partition plan had allocated. For Israel, the cost was devastating: 6,000 fighters killed, 1% of the entire pre-state Jewish population. For the Arab states, estimates range between 4,000 and 15,000 dead. For Palestinians, the cost was immeasurable. At least 700,000 Palestinian refugees fled their homes, an exodus known as the Nakba. Most would never return. Their descendants, now numbering over 5 million, remain refugees today. The 1948 war didn't end the conflict. It created it. The Arab states refused to recognize Israel. No peace treaties, no diplomatic relations, a permanent state of war. More wars would follow: 1956, 1967, 1973, 1982. The cycle of violence never truly stopped. The Palestinian refugee crisis remains unresolved. The status of Jerusalem remains contested. The borders remain disputed. For Israelis, 1948 is the War of Independence, the miraculous birth of a nation. For Palestinians, it is the Nakba, the catastrophe that destroyed their world. 77 years later, the consequences of those 10 brutal months still define the Middle East. Two peoples, one land, a conflict born in 1948 that continues to this day. If you want to understand the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, you have to understand 1948. It's the origin point, the wound that never healed. If you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most complex conflicts.